Hello and welcome to number 4 in my set of videos about the portfolio for A2 IT students. We're going to look at icons in this particular session. What I'm mainly going to be using is Photoshop, and I'm also going to be using some resources from DeviantArt, but you can get them from pretty much anywhere as long as they are copyright free. Don't forget A2s. So I'm going to make some icons that are going to be, like we talked about in class, play buttons, stop buttons, pause buttons, fast forward, rewind, and all I really want are some interesting backgrounds. So I've whizzed to DeviantArt, I've looked under resources and stock images and clicked on textures just to see what I can find. You guys may have a particular idea in mind, a theme that you want to follow or something like that. I'm quite happy. I'm just going to pick a texture at random. So let's have a look. I'll just have a quick scan down and I will choose. What shall we choose? Go for that one. What the heck? Okay, so copy the image and I am going to do a new file. And I'm just going to paste that into Photoshop. So that's there, ready to go. Then I'm going to create a new file, and I'm going to make this 500 by 500. It doesn't necessarily have to be that big, but I like to give myself a reasonable amount of room to work. And I'm going to set the background colour to transparent. So now I've got a blank canvas, there's no colour in there, not even white. I'm going to go to my textured image, and I will select the elliptical marquee tool to cut out a circle. You can do square buttons, it doesn't have to be circular, but I happen to think they look pretty good. So I'm selecting an area of the picture, going to copy that and paste it into here, and then I'll use Control T just to stretch that into so it fits nicely into my shape. I'm actually going to bring it in ever so slightly just so I've got an edge to play with, and apply that. Okay, so now I've got a simple circle. That's on a layer. I'm going to go into the FX tool and I'm going to click Bevel and Emboss, which will bring up a whole section of styles that you can apply to this. Now it's immediately put a little button style bevel on. I'm going to make that a little bit chunkier. Just going to play around with the settings so I get it just how I want it. I quite like it like that. I want it a fairly defined edge. Okay, I don't think I need to change anything else right now, so I'll OK that. Then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to change to I'll show you how to do the harder one because people struggle with the triangles. So I'm going to do the polygonal lasso tool. This just lets you select areas using straight lines. So if I was going to do a play button, I want a straight line going straight down. If I hold the shift key down, that will lock to vertical. Then come out about halfway and then join back up again. How well you can see that, but there is a triangle. Okay, I'm going to copy that, paste that, and that will immediately drop it into a new layer. So there it is, there's the triangle. I will making sure I'm on layer 2, I'll actually name that, I'll call that the symbol. And I'll rename this one, I'll call it the base. There we go. So on the symbol layer, click FX, bevel and emboss again, so we can push that up, make that nice and sharp. I can move that around and just place that exactly where I want it. So there is a play button. Now if I wanted to, I can do some extra stuff with this. I can go back into FX and I could maybe choose a colour overlay on there. Set the colour to play buttons usually green, so if I select a really strong green, and then maybe bring down the opacity so it's kind of see-through, I can just push the effects of that green for the play button. There we go. So that's button number 1. Very, very simply now, all I need to do is hide that layer, go back to the base, select, say, the rectangular marquee tool, and I'll do a stop button, so I want a square, copy it, paste it as a new layer, go to the FX tool, bevel and emboss, scale that up, increase the depth so it's nice and sharp, move it to where I want it to be, color overlay, stop button's usually red, bring down the opacity just so it's just enough so you can see it, and then we've got play button, stop button. And I can just keep going like that. The only one that sometimes people find tricky is to fast forward and rewind. All that really is two triangles. So I'm just going to make a slightly smaller version of my triangle that I made before. Actually got that slightly wrong. Hang on. Do that again. So straight down, at an angle, join up. That. I'll make sure I'm on the base layer. Copy that. Paste it again. So now I've got two layers to apply the bevel to both of them, otherwise I won't be able to see them, so I'll just quickly put just a little bit of bevel and emboss on there, just so I can actually see the two buttons. There we go. So now I can move those around. Each layer can be moved separately. So there's fast forward. And again, I'd apply the colour overlay and adjust the settings. And all you would need to do to turn that to a rewind is do Control T, hold the Shift key down, and then I can rotate that triangle around. And then do the same with the other one. Apply that. Go to the other one, Control T for transform, rotate it round, and apply that. Fast forward and rewind. For the pause, two rectangles, and that's pretty much done. Now, little variations you can do on a theme. You don't always have to have the same background. You could do different backgrounds. You could select different areas of the picture. So I could take that circle tool, if I just create a new layer, so I can move that around. Selection. I want to move the selection. Right, I could move that. Oh, it's going to cut it. My bad. To actually cut it out again because of the way I did it. Choose a different section of the circle and then copy that, and you could use that. The alternative is if you actually work on this layer or worked on this image, I could just move the picture around to change the background, but it's probably easier to just copy and paste different sections. If you really wanted to do a very quick difference to the background, you can always do Control T and actually rotate the back of the picture, and if you notice the bevel doesn't change, it's only the picture rotates, so you can do things like that. Now obviously that wasn't the most exciting background in the world. You can choose your own. There's literally thousands of textures and backgrounds on DeviantArt, and you can get some really interesting effects. Okay, so very, very straightforward icons, use of layers, use of different cutout tools, use of bevel and emboss, and use of colour overlays will actually give you quite a nice range of buttons. And then all you need to do to drop them into your portfolio is grab print screens of each button in turn or save them as separate files, and then you can build up your set of icons. Okay, so that's me done. I'll be back shortly to do background styles.